Hi everyone, my name is Evert, and this is episode 11 of my series for building a time tracking application using Hypermedia, React, TypeScript, and a bunch of other stuff. If you're following this on YouTube, you may have noticed that I'm missing episode 10. It's because something went wrong with the recording. I had two microphones open at the same time, which causes like this really nasty delay. And even though it was kind of possible to follow what was going on, I just didn't feel comfortable uploading it on YouTube just because I didn't want people to have this first experience with it. If you are super excited to follow along with every episode, you can always contact me and I'll send you a direct link to it. So yeah, a lot of stuff has happened since the last time that again is missing. The One of the main things is I've kind of cleaned up a bunch of the APIs. All the APIs that were built before for managing clients, projects, and entries now have put requests to make changes. And I also added a couple of front-end interfaces to allow a user to manage them. I'm going to show a little bit of that just about now. So we have a clients interface here, a projects interface. Projects have a client. I'm pretty sure this is new since episode 9. And I have a list of users. And that's basically everything that I've done, along with a whole bunch of cleanup. And another thing that was, I think, broken in episode 9, which is a couple of weeks ago now, is that I think the ES, I switched the ES build for a faster build. And the dev server was kind of broken, so I had to fix that, did that as well. And I counted some bugs in some of the hooks that I was using, and those are also fixed now. So basically everything is in a kind of better state. So yeah, it seems like a better place to work from. So if you are watching this on YouTube, then at the end of every episode, I make a pull request for everything I've done that day. So you can find those pull requests in the description. So if you kind of want to read along with the code that I've eventually wrote, yeah, so that's kind of the household items. What do I want to do today? So I've kind of realized that as I've spent about 11 hours on this, and what we have so far is not that much for like an actual functional time tracker. Really, we kind of have these base entities, which is client, projects, and people, and some interface to manage those, which is all pretty minimal. But we haven't really gotten closer to the actual functionality that it needs to eventually do. So this project will have two main types of users. One type of user is the user that has to enter their time, and the second kind of user will be the person that needs to actually get reports from that time tracking. So I thought kind of instead of just making one interface per entity that's on the back end, I started feeling like this is not a good way to do this. I need to actually start thinking about this project and from the perspective of a user wanting to accomplish something. So I started thinking about that a little bit, and I thought, well, the most logical first kind of end user to do something for would be the person entering their own time, because ultimately the first thing that will need to happen is allow people to enter their entries. I think that's what I want to do today. Is basically I want to make an interface for creating entries. And also I'm going to kind of spend a little bit more time on the user experience for this. In preparation for that, I've made some drawings of sort of the interface that I want for this. It's still pretty basic, and I do expect to kind of change this over time. But the basic idea is that I want to create a page that shows you a week of time entries, and it just has a week number, a date, start and end date, as well as just like one section per weekday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And basically I want this page to allow someone to enter new stuff. In the past, the way I've worked is to start with an API and then do a front end for this. And I think it's also it's good for some stuff, but I think if we're really trying to make an interface that someone has to use, I think it's actually better to start with what is the experience we're hoping for. So I'm actually going to start with the front end for this. So the front end I'll be building is in React as usual, and I'm just going to build a mostly static version of this page and just add the dynamic parts that I can quickly do. And then once I'm done those static parts, I'm going to look at my watch and see if I'm still under an hour. Then I'm going to build the API for this and then make everything dynamic. So yeah, we'll see how far we get. Let's get started. So another thing I'd like to do is I want to kind of, we have these 3 top level things. And honestly, these aren't even like the most interesting top level things that you would want from this application. Clients, projects, people, those are really kind of like settings panels that you don't often go to. So I think eventually this also needs to change, but I'm going to kind of keep the structure for now until we're a little further. So people is more like are like users. So I'm in here. I only have a name and there's no other information. So just because like I think the timesheet I want to make is a per user timesheet and I don't have authentication yet, I'm going to basically from this people page, I'm going to create just a link to a timesheet. And then later on, we'll kind of fix the UX a little bit, because I think eventually what we want is like as soon as I log in, that's the page I see, but we don't have login. So I just want to start with this page. So I think what makes sense for me is like right now we have like, so I have my name here, a save button. This is just for editing my personal information. I think we want to have a button maybe, do we even want to have a button on this page? Maybe if I go to people, maybe I should see the timesheet. That might make more sense. Maybe this should be an input field. Okay, yeah, I think those things kind of make sense to me. So I'm just gonna, try that. Cool. Or you know what? Maybe we'll turn this into some kind of edit page specific for a person. Okay, I think a good way for me at least, like I'm not a designer, so just to get inspiration for this, I think, maybe a good thing would be kind of a tabbed interface where I can edit information for a user. Right now we only have a name, but there's going to be more in the future. And another tab, which is the sheet. So I'm just going to take a look at the Bootstrap stuff and because we're using Bootstrap, and to see what kind of components it has for, say, a tabbed interface. Accordion. This could be interesting for having the multiple days. Alerts, no, that's definitely not it. Button group. Carousel, drop downs, nav, and tabs. So this could be good. This looks pretty simple. Maybe I think this is the one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's do this. I think this is kind of a decent looking tab interface. This one. Okay. Cool. So that's nav tabs. Okay, cool. I can look at this in a bit. Yeah, this is the page I want to start editing. So it's the person page. So I'm just going to keep the name, and immediately below it, I'm going to start making those tabs. I guess like this part only does the tab itself and doesn't do anything with what's currently active. I think that's fine. Class name is nav tabs. Class is Nav Item, and then we have a link. I'm not going to use an A link for this yet. I think it'd be nice to eventually be able to deep link to these places. But I think for now we're just going to do just a span. But because I don't want to deal with routing just yet, I think it seems pretty tricky. One of the things that's good about these streams is that I think usually when I work just on my own, then I tend to really quickly kind of go on side quests. And whereas when I'm on a stream, I feel more forced to stay focused on what my actual goal is. Cool. I don't understand area stuff well enough. It's probably not good, but that's something I just eventually like to dive into. Okay, so this is the active one. So this is the first one. So let's do weekly entries. And an inactive, which is, oops. Edit. And yeah, not sure if I'm happy with those labels, but again, we don't have to do everything at once. There we go. We got a tab. It works. Neat. Okay, so one of the things that I'm noticing if I hover over this is actually, for some reason, this is so weird. It turns into a, why? Yeah, is this an input? Why does it give me the, that's so weird. The mouse cursor turns into the edit cursor, so that's a bit odd. So I think I will use links for this, so at least but I feel a little bad about abusing this because I'm not gonna link anywhere, and I think that's normally a pretty bad thing. I'm just gonna add an on-click handler for this. Cool. Yeah, well, at least the mouse cursor is correct now. Mouse cursor looks weird. I've never noticed this before, and I've been using this system for a while. Cool. So I think the edit, this form field with like where we can change the name, that's actually, I want that to be on a second page. But I think another thing is that like these are clearly tabs. I think, is this fine? Does it need to be all be in a box? I think I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Cool. So now the next part is that we want to have a way to know which one is currently active, and then based on which one is active, show a different component. So first thing I need for that is I need to create some kind of state variable. Active tab, for instance. That seems like a good name for it. Set active tab. Use state, and the first tab that's active is weekly entries. So normally TypeScript will infer this as a string, but I don't want a string. I want to make this a little bit more specific. So tab is either the string weekly entries or it's the string edit. There. Okay. I think this would make a really good component, like a custom component. So maybe the next time, I like making components the second time I need it. So right now we're creating this tabbed interface, and maybe the second time I'm doing a tabbed interface, that would be the time where I turn all of this into a bootstrap tab component. Actually, should I just do that right now? Not yet. I'm just gonna hang on a little bit. Okay, so active tab, set active tab. Okay. So this needs to get a little bit more info. Wait, that's not how this works. There. Plus. Otherwise nothing. So yeah, it's a bit, this is definitely verbose, I think. So yeah, this is definitely a really strong candidate for a good component. Because I'm going to have to do the same thing here. And now I also need on click for both. Okay, you know what? I'm going to make not the whole tab component. I'm going to make a small component, which is just a nav item. Nav item. So what does a nav item want? First of all, it needs to know what a label is. Now let's call this a tab. It's more fun. The label is the human readable thing that goes on the tab. And we also want to know it's kind of an ID. Is ID a bad name for this? Maybe it's to name. Actually, that works better because like we have labels in HTML and name, which is a name that's meant for computers, not humans. So name is of type tab, which is what we define here. Cool. So, and then we can just use this. We can also pass the active tab. And a set active tab. Which is a function. Cool. So this is, I think, everything it needs. So now it's also, now we have a whole component dedicated for this thing. It's also a bit easier to clean it. Like, just take a few more lines to make this look a little nicer. So for instance, we can have like, you know, link classes. Link class name. Nav link plus props active tab equals props dot name, then it gets the word active and otherwise nothing. There we go. I get an error that there's no use state, so I'd like to import that, please. Cool. And lastly, once somebody clicks on this tab, I want to change the active tab. So on click is set active tab. Oh yeah, this needs to be a function. Set active tab props.name. So basically this, we're saying that once somebody clicks this link, then the current tab needs to be this tab. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the label. So there. Okay, now let's see if we actually saved some annoyance here. It'd be nice. Otherwise it was all for nothing. So that is, what do we call it? I think we call it tab. No. Tab item. Label is weekly entries. Name is weekly entries. And set active tab equals set active tab and active tab equals active tab. These just need to be passed on. Okay, I did call a tab here, so that's confusing. Tab item seems better now, so there's no conflict. This should not be a string. This should be type tab. There you go. That worked. Cool. So that's how we make a whole tab item now. Is it better? I think so. I don't know how much it saves, but it leaves a little bit less repetition. That's always nice. Edit. Wish I could somehow magically pass on the set active tab and active tab stuff. I think it would be possible with something like use context. That's a whole can of worms. Did we do it? No. Yes. Okay. It worked. Okay, so I think next is the actual contents of the tab. So I think that needs to be a switch. So let's call this tab contents. Switch the tab name, active tab, case, edit. Then we are going to set tab contents to a new component that we haven't built yet. That is going to be person edit form. And I want to pass a resource onto it. Next thing is weekly entries. Okay, this one should probably be on top, so it's in the same order as everywhere else. So it's tab contents, and cool. So yeah, those are two new components. I think it makes sense for me for those components to live in new files. So let's make those. So add person weekly entries, TSX, and person edit formed TSX. There we go. So person edit form makes sense to do first because this one's already mostly built. Person edit form, export function, person edit form. What kind of props do we want? We want a resource of type person. And now we need to fix all the errors. And there's a couple. Well, let's just do one at a time as they show up in my screen below. It's always a fun way to do it for me. Cool. So cannot find name resource. And that's because we are not getting the resource yet. So I can ask this component to get it. Okay. And the next one is okay. Person edit form doesn't exist because we need to import it. And also person weekly entries from person weekly and tab content is declared but never read. It's okay. We're going to read it here. Set name is declared when never read. Yeah, that's true because this function is specific to the edit form. So let's get that one in here. And that also highlights the next problem, which is we're missing a bunch of stuff. Let's see. Loading error. Okay, I think that all makes sense to me. So we want this, and use resource should use props.resource. Okay. Next error. Set name is declared. Still that error. That means it's because we haven't saved it. Navigation is declared but never read. That's because this function wants that. Use navigate. So that one should move up. This one will not use location. Okay, what else? So this one's no longer needed here. Submit is no longer needed, and set resource state is no longer needed. And then person weekly entries. So one thing I can do here too is that I don't think, yeah, this loader and error is more appropriate here. Further simplified, person weekly entries, cool. That's the next one I'm gonna do. Actually, let me just fix these errors in this one too. Import restar as React from React. That's good. And we need, do we need use state? I don't think so. We want user resource for sure. And we need person. And we need a resource from getting. Use navigate is no longer needed here. Person edit form, why is that? There's no exported member person edit form. Is it true? I think it does. Oh, yeah, it's because this one's wrong. Person edit form. Okay, cool. Any more errors here? No. Okay, cool. So I'm going to use this entire thing to create the weekly entries page. But actually, we don't need most of this, so maybe I'm overdoing it. Return timesheet for resource state dot data dot name. So no longer need these two. No longer need these, or this one, or this one. Okay. Okay. No more errors. All right, let's refresh. That's not good. Oh, it's because I think this loading an error thing really should be here. And it should be on the main page, person page. Already have that. It's also in the weekly entries, that's good. Was this one just too fast? No, resource state is undefined. Where? Person page. Wait a minute, why didn't I get an error for this? Oh wait, no, I did. Rendered more hooks than during the previous render, and is that true? It probably is. So where would I have made that mistake? Person page, okay, that's here. Is it person page? That does look like that. Because there's a use state and I used it after the return statements, and that's illegal. Cool. It's looking a lot better. Oh, cool. So there is a tab content thing. So I'm going to use that, I think. Yeah, because I think this is a little ugly so far. So div class tab content. Oh yeah, it's also its class name. Content. Div class tab pane. I don't think I need any of those IDs or anything, because I think it should just work. Because I only need one tab. It needs only render one tab. The others it's not render because it's React and not like jQuery stuff. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing this one. Okay, how does this look? Looks very similar. Really thought I was onto something here. Why is it ugly? I was just hoping I would get a little bit of a little bit more style for, like, maybe, I guess this does look similar to what I'm doing. I guess it's so tight that I just don't love necessarily how this looks, but I think maybe I just need to find some other way to create spacing. At the very least, I think it makes sense to have maybe a title here. Like, you get dropped right into a form, and I think that feels a little unnecessary. Maybe I should start with like an H2 or something. I'm assuming this is an H1. Yes. Okay, let's see. What do we got for content? Typography. Okay, maybe it's just H2. Let's see what an H2 does. That's fine. Edit user. I don't love it. I think, why do I not love it? I think I don't love it because they have a title and then another title. So maybe that's the answer. Maybe I shouldn't have that first title. But I should have the username should be in there somewhere. So maybe, okay, bear with me. Maybe we just need to get rid of this header, this page header, and move it in here. Like, does that make sense? Yeah, that does look better. I mean, this is still bad. But maybe we just don't need the edit user header anymore. Ah, I wish I was better at this stuff. Like, this is still ugly to me. But I think probably more important is to try and just move forward, and don't get too stuck in these things. And just at some point, just like ask a designer friend if they want to help me out with this. I wish there were like some bigger kind of, just some examples of like, this is a good looking bootstrap. Boot. Product, cover, carousel. A lot of these things are not really app-like. Okay. I'm not allowed to get stuck. So I'm going to just put this one back. No, wait. I don't like the title on these pages, so that one's going to stay gone. But I'm going to move the title of the page back to the top. There. Maybe the nicer name for this is edit user. Anyway, we're officially at this point where I want to do the timesheet. This is the goal of today, is to kind of figure out this page. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start with the static version of this. So broadly, what I want this to look like is I want to start basically with a sort of header that says, has a couple of things in there. So let's say it has this is going to be very silly for now. So previous week, this is going to be a button. And then in here, I wanted to say week, I don't know, 10, whatever week we are in. And then I wanted to say, let's see, what is today's date? Saturday the 5th. So this week would have started, I guess, February 28th to March 6th. And then I want another button that says next week. And below there, I wanted to say the individual days. So let's make this a little tiny component for that. Entry day. All this is gonna get fixed, of course. Monday, Tuesday, Okay, so it's missing the entry day type. So there's a function entry day. So for each day, it should say, start with something like the day. And then a list of entries. There. Gonna ignore this error for now. I think ESBuild will build without it. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, so next step is I'm gonna take all this static stuff and I'm gonna turn to something that doesn't look horrendous. So I think for the first thing is like my goal was to create a button that goes to the previous week, then some information about the current date, and then the next week. So I'm gonna start with those buttons. And I think this needs to be pretty big, so I think this feels like an H2 type situation. But also maybe not. We'll figure that out in a bit. Okay, so I think for this we need a component. And this is also a nav. Oh, this is, I think this nav is more of the site nav. So let's do like this list of buttons makes sense to me. Wait, is this a nav? Maybe this is not a nav. What is this, like pagination? This is kind of nice. I suppose I could just use this. Maybe I'll try this. Okay. Pagination. I like justify content center. And first one is previous. So it's a page item apparently. And then the next one is basically the active one. This one does it. Excuse me, active. Okay. The next one is just not clickable, so I think I still use page item. Then active. And I want to show week 10, February 28 to March 6. And then page item. I think all these things need to be in links. So let's just first see how this comes out, because it might be ugly. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I think we're missing the inner item, so it wants links for all of these. Age, class name is page link. actually just, okay, this can go on one line to match the other one. And the last one. Oh, I wonder how painful it is here. Let's me do this. Next. Okay, I don't mind this. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. Maybe in terms of the actual dates, maybe maybe I just do week 10 for now, and I'll put the date somewhere else. I can put a date on each of the like these sections. It would also be nice if we can just show these to make it a true pager. But then do we really need previews and next? Maybe not. Okay, this is what I'm gonna go with right now. Yeah, I think this is nice. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have this pager, and now we want to do the list of entries. So this is a pretty aggressive header. I wonder if there's like something in here that is just not as intense. I guess we can just do smaller headings. But yeah, how it looks is based more on the theme I'm using, and I just don't love this all uppercase stuff. And I'm definitely not going to start really hacking around the theme, because I think it definitely feels like the theme I chose here definitely feels like a very temporary one. So I think the right time to make things pretty would be after choosing a different theme, or maybe moving away from Bootstrap altogether again. So we're just gonna work within the canvas that we're given. So these are the themes. Let's just take a look at, because this is the one I'm using. Yeah, it makes a lot of use of all uppercase, which is just like, it's just kind of intense. It has some good features, but yeah, look, all the headings are all uppercase. It's too bad. This looks nice. Oh, but look at these uppercase again. It's too much. This looks fine. Ooh, we should use this. Pagination. I like this little double sides. What am I? Honestly, I just got super distracted. What am I working on right now? Okay, cool. I am working on, I think, yeah, figuring out this. What am I gonna do with that? So I'm actually just looking through the list of components just to see kind of what's kind of an appropriate component for this. And I had accordion in my head for this when I originally looked at this. So I'm gonna start off with that because it seems like a good choice. So this is the accordion. Div class name accordion. And then this would be an accordion item. And in the accordion item, there is an accordion header. And I'm assuming. Oh, that's weird. Okay, wait, this is the header part, and then this is the accordion collapse part. Okay, so class name equals accordion collapse show. Okay, so there's a collapse and a show. I don't know why it needs both. But yeah, let's figure that out. So let's first see how this looks. Okay, nothing to write home. I think what I'm missing is like this arrow thing. So that's probably this. Okay. Let's see, accordion button, which goes into H2. Let's do that as well. Anything else? This is data, this is data. I'm not going to use those data attributes because I think those are meant to be used with Bootstrap's JavaScript add-ons, and I'm not using those because I'm just writing all my JavaScript logic in React. And to me, it doesn't really make sense to use both at the same time, and I have a lot of doubt that this would work at all anyway. So, so yeah, hopefully this looks better. Let's take a look. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This is kind of nice. Neat, even. Cool. One thing, okay, I'm just thinking about this, is like one thing I wish they did is they actually use the HTML elements for this, because we actually have an HTML element that has all this functionality. What is it called again? HTML element for expand collapse. Yeah, is this it? No, I don't want to go to your weird website. Where's the MDN? Detail summary. Here we go. So this is the native version of this. This is a real thing. So I wonder, okay, I'm just gonna, I think this is worth doing a little bit of a side quest for. I wonder if I just use details and summary, will Bootstrap understand what my intention is? Because that honestly is way better than all this. When basically my philosophy of this is like, if we can use native HTML stuff for this, we should, because it's going to mean less JavaScript. We don't have to re-render stuff when a user clicks on these buttons, and also it's semantic, so there's a lot of good reasons to do this. Anyway, what's our title? Props.day. And then the contents is, I just put some text in here, a list of entries. Let's see. Wow, that's actually pretty surprising that JSX doesn't have support for the... Oh man. JSX detail. Is this for real? Okay, maybe. This relates to my tsconfig. Okay, let's find out. tsconfig lib. What are the options here? Okay, here we go. It's a lot of stuff. Okay, what happens if I just do ES2 2021? Ah. Okay, I'm just gonna hack this in here because I'm just like, it's too bad that React or TypeScript, and now who's at fault here, doesn't support a detail element. But I think it would be nice to just put some support in there. Cool. Where was I? Weekly entries. I think this is how I create a fake element. No, it's so sad. Detail, intrinsic elements. Intrinsic, is this spelled correctly? Intrinsic elements, yeah, it is. Okay, can I put this in a separate file? React bonus.d.ts, because normally this is a definition file. Oh, not summary, I want detail. Yeah, that worked. Okay, cool. Let's open this again. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. HTML5 detail summary. Wait. Was I the problem all around? Was it details? Yes, it's details. Okay, let's create a new element in React, assuming that, you know, it's React fault, not mine. Classic. It was details. Okay, so what happens if I use details? Does Bootstrap do something nice with it? It doesn't really do something nice with it. That's too bad. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not going to go through the effort to try to port HTML5 to something that looks like Bootstrap. So, but detail summary, honestly, this would be something that Bootstrap should add. Okay, not doing it. Not today. We are, how are we looking for time? We're an hour in. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to do the backend dynamic part for this in this episode, but I am going to finish kind of what I'm working on right now. Back to accordion. So accordion, collapse, item. I would expect it. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. This one's collapsed. So we want to know if this entry is open or not. And I guess by default, we're just gonna keep everything closed. Oops. So collapsed is the string that we care about here. And this class needs to be added to the... Oh yeah, I think this is actually the opposite. So we want the class name collapse if it's not open. Okay, how does that look? Not good. Cannot find name use state. Okay, let's import that. Sorry, I'm hearing a faint beeping. Just want to make sure we're not recording at beeping. No, I think it's going for something else. Yeah, let's get rid of this bullshit. And let's get rid of the other thing. Okay. When this button is clicked, we want to toggle. Easy enough. Okay, how does this look? It's good. And then I think we just need to add the same class name here. Interesting, because I did see this lower div had... Oh, it's just for the button. Okay, cool. Where I see here... Oh, there's accordion body. Am I using accordion body? No, I'm not. Okay, I think I got confused somewhere. So this should have been accordion body all along. And it's a body and this... Okay. I need to get this right. So div class name is accordion collapse. Oh yeah, so this stuff again. Okay. Apologies. Too many divs. If I did everything by hand, it would be a lot less nesting. I understand that it's needed for a framework like this because like you need sometimes just extra element to be able to style everything. But yeah, it is a little frustrating. Accordion body. Just divs within divs. It's like 2005 all over again. Okay, now this looks nicer. This looks way nicer. Okay, this is obviously wrong. How we're looking now. Okay, this doesn't make a difference. So I think this other, I don't know why it needs collapse and show. It's pretty weird. Oh man, oh here it is. No, did I lose bootstrap accordion? Show. Okay, so I think I need this as well. It seems a little weird. I need both collapse and show, but just gonna do that. assuming this is it, but it does feel a little weird to me. Okay, no, it's not it. So the second one here is collapsed. So the collapse is on the button and it's on the div. Okay, well. And so I don't know what the difference is between show and not show. This one is collapse. Why does it need both? It's a bit weird. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna do the React way now. It's easier. So then in that case, I just don't need, I think I just need this. Let's see. So I'm assuming this just shows the, yeah, cool. Layout is correct. And all I gotta do now here is just make sure that we only show this then if it is indeed open, and otherwise we show nothing. Cool. Doesn't have that sweet. Oh, you know what? This is probably why it has this collapse flag on it, because it creates this nice animation. I'm gonna try it. Nothing. Okay. Does it need to show? Oh yeah, the show would be the opposite. Okay, let me just do this one more time, and hopefully the correct way this time. No, it's still instant. Okay, another thing is interesting is that all of them have accordion collapsed on it. So maybe this is never needed to be optional. Okay, just to be sure, I added this collapse on this button too. Is that actually needed? Accordion button. Maybe it wasn't needed. No, that one was needed. Okay, cool. So at least I got that one right. So it looks like all of these have the keyword collapse. And the only difference is that whether or not the word show is also in there. So I have two more. I'm gonna have to make two more tries here. Okay, also not working. So I'm also going to just remove this kind of optional thing. It's fine to just like always render it and then just not always show. Okay, so that did not help me. Collapse show, collapse show, collapse. I'm missing something obvious. The olive accordion body. Accordion body, accordion body. And they have just the word accordion here. Which is I have there. Then each is an accordion item with an accordion header, which I have. Then accordion header has an accordion button, which I have. Accordion button is just button, and sometimes it's collapsed. So it's pretty clear that that's correct everywhere. Type is button, that's stupid because I don't think that's needed. Toggle is collapse, okay. Collapse 1. So they all have show. The show is probably what it starts with. Yeah, okay. Okay, let me try this one more time. Nope. To render accordion that's expanded, add the open. Okay. How does this work? Collapse that shows content. Collapsing is applied during transitions. Collapse hides content. So you need both to show content, and collapse hides it. So if it's collapse, it's hidden. If it's collapse and show, okay. Okay, anyway, so this tells me once again, they all need collapse. And it needs to be show when it's open. And this is the last time I'm going to try this, to do this with a nice animation. Okay, at least that works. That's progress, I would say. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep it with that. I think that's good. Okay, cool. So what's the next step? Actually, you know what? I think I've been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes. This feels like a good place to stop. I think, yeah, so next episode I'm going to fill actual entries in here, and maybe make those things dynamic as well. That would be great. But yeah, this is, I think, long enough for now. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I'm making pull requests for all the changes I've made. This time it's just changes in the front end repository. So yeah, it's easy. It should be easy to read along with like actually everything I've done. Thank you for watching and have a great night. Bye bye.